I got to make sure I'm on mute on the other side, though, too.
That would help.
Hi, everybody. I think I forgot to put myself on mute, so it's probably going to make some echo noise here in a second. I'm waiting to see. Yep. Ta-da! All right, cool. Check, check. Volume check. Video check. Brian's over there trying to adjust. It's shaky. While you're doing that, I'll say hello. Misfit Reptiles and Aquatics. Brennan, he was first. Says, hey. Frank Basanta, hello. From NYC. Big Dog 35. I love shrimp. Dr. Anthony, Amazon Research Center for Ornamental Fishes. Hashtag I love shrimp. And hashtag hot lips. Jack in the Shrimp Tank. Gina's Reef, hello. Jeff Kane. Dee Dee. I say, who loves shrimp? Freaky Fish Lady, Holly, hello. Dennis Christensen, hello. Hot lips. That must be from Rob's. Let's see. I lost my track.
Hot lips Houlihan.
Jeff Kane, Ka in Texas. Arctic Winds, hello from Alaska. You just put up 8 new tanks. Big Dog 35. That's awesome. Brooklyn Bell, Lurkin. Jay Oliver, what's up, brother? How you doing? And I think I made it down. There's Shooter's Range. Check, check. Awesome. How you doing, Johnny? Haven't seen you in forever, since like yesterday. And Brian, Pimpin' Shrimp, Iowa here. Cool deal. How much for purple shrimp? Right off the bat, Brian, there's a question for you.
I think it's on my website. I think they're like $65 for little ones. And they go all the way up if you want like a full-grown female or something, or it goes up.
Geek Boy, hello. Well, that was a pretty good description. From 65 on up.
Yeah, it just
check it out. www.motorcityaquatics.com.
Yeah. It just depends. It's
I don't have any purple shrimp, or I sell you some. I'd undercut his price, just to be mean that way, because that's the way I am.
He's a dick.
What'd you say?
He's a dick. Now, usually, why I say do the $65 thing is because when they're little, you can tell they're really purple, but lines and stripes and this and that, you can't tell exactly what they're going to look like when they grow up. So that's why I say it's $65 for small shrimp.
He needs 10.
I don't know. It's if you want pregnant females, they're more, adults, probably like $85 to $100. It just depends on the grade of the shrimp.
There you go. You can put as many as you want in a 5-gallon tank, realistically, but I'd probably stop at around 50-ish, because by then, if you have that many, you're culling, hopefully, pulling out the prettier ones and putting them in their own tank. And that's how you end up with multiple tank syndrome, because you pull out the pretty ones, give them their own tank, and then prettier ones, give them their own tank, and so on and so on. And so on.
You know you're narcissistic, and people say you have issues, and it just causes a bunch of shit.
Good evening, Poetic Song. Yeah, it's hot outside. This Texas heat, yuck.
It rained all day. Just stopped maybe an hour ago, half hour ago, all day. Didn't let up.
So what you been up to, man?
Oh, I just got
done streaming. I see you streaming all the time now. I turn on YouTube, and there you are streaming.
You're high as hell. I just got done eating dinner.
So?
You're right. I just got done eating dinner. roast and baked potato and stuff like that. And then she bought a $13 Boston cream pie, so I need to see what $13 tasted like. But sand bed for shrimp.
Nope. Even in the Caradina tank, sometimes I'll put a mixture of sand and active substrate. As long as I have the active substrate, I don't mind putting sand in there, especially if it's certain colors and I want to bring them out. So I might use lighter sand to help bring some of the colors out so I can see the shrimp because I can't see them on the black substrate. It really depends. But yeah, sand's fine. Just wash it like you would anything else.
Yeah, I had a problem with sand once.
What are you messing with over there?
Oh, not that I straighten this up. My jobby. It's you put camera on it or GoPro or and the legs bend all over. It's good for hooking it on the tanks and stuff and putting your camera on it. But I have a
stream. I'm not home yet. Okay, pause. All right, that's long enough. Lurk mode as I drive, says Gina's Reef. Be safe, those of you driving and lurking. Actually, I was doing that earlier today. I'm guilty thereof. Such said committed alleged crime of lurking while driving. I had your stream on while I was driving home. Yeah, I was like, why not? I'll give you some watch time. You only had like 18 people, I think.
Yeah,
so I wanted to be one of them.
It was pretty good. I think it went up to 20, 21 or 22.
Yeah, for a pop-up, man, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, like I was talking to you about yesterday. I think doing the live stream on a product was better than just doing a video and uploading it. Because I don't know, you get to add so much more. It's
you get to answer questions right then and there instead of in a recorded
that. But how many people may want to hop on a stream and say hi to their friends and stuff. So that's why I was like, wow, maybe it'd be cool just to go live, show everybody this stuff. And, so it's not like staged, I feel sometimes when you look at stuff, let's say on TV or something, like an infomercial, you'd be like, man, it's fake or that's garbage.
Wait, there's more.
It's still back there running. It's killing it. It's a nice little pump, man, but it's good for the small. Probably any tank up to a 20 long. 20 longs aren't deep. I'm sure it worked great in that. A 20 deep.
Probably not a 29 gallon though, right? Because
I think it would struggle. I think if you go over a regular 20 gallon, the depth of a 20 gallon, I think then it probably wouldn't be as powerful as it is right now. But it works pretty good. Can't hear. Like I said, all I can hear is the bubbles. The amount of pressure coming out of the little stone, that's what I can hear. It's pretty loud.
Coolio. Hello, SC Catahulas.
Hello. But yeah, other than that, did that little stream and do some updates and yeah, but other than that, it rained all day today, so I didn't get to do much of anything. So I got that together. Yeah, I did that stream. I got caught upstairs. I get caught upstairs. Oh, just stuck on the phone learning about all this cryptocurrency, and I set up an account on Webull. Not only do I do a live stream in YouTube, but my subscribers, they not only are we friends and everything, you build friendships, but there's more to it. So like Pumpkin King, he's really into this stuff, so he like sends me stuff, and he sent me this Webull thing, and if I join, then he gets free stocks, and and then I get like, I don't know, it's like 7 free stocks or 8 free stocks. So I jumped on that, and it's just it's kind of cool to have, your family, your hobby family, your subscribers. I hate using the word subscribers now. Everyone's like family members, It's like,
I hear you.
To a point, it's like, you're excited to see them. You want to hurry up and get on and do your stream and start it, and you don't want to shut it off. So, and it's not like you're doing it for financial gain. If somebody gives you something, fine, but you're on here to talk to these people to see how they're doing and how their day went, and since what happened since last week, and all that.
And I'm here because
I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp? I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp?
Why are you here? I didn't hear it. I got something came up and blocked everything, and it muted me. Sorry.
That's why.
But yeah,
that's why I'm here. Did the red ship out yet? I thought so. I'll have to double check.
Yeah, who was that?
Who
won last week?
Who won last week? It was S.
S, yeah, because I thought S said earlier on my stream that he got
his shrimp should, I think, arrive tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Boy, that's a whole week? Oh, no, you had to stream Wednesday. You sent them out on Thursday?
No, I didn't send them out last Thursday. I waited till this week.
Monday. Okay, good.
She got the blue steels. All right, good job, Dee. Aren't they pretty? I know they're small, but you'll like them. They'll grow up really, really pretty.
That's what she said.
And the wood and the cholla wood and the plants. Thank you, Big Papa.
His wood is real small. Sorry.
Yeah, it is. It's nano wood.
Just wait. It'll get bigger. It swells up when it sits in water for a long period of time.
Hey, it's all in good fun. But yeah, I mean, Dee Dee's been good in buying shrimp, so I figured I'd hook her up with a little bit of goodies that she wasn't expecting.
You just want a towel.
Yeah, that's right. I wanted a towel. Damn it.
I don't know
I'm not as cool as you are.
Look, I don't know. I swear to God, to this day, I just wait for her to order something, but I don't know what I did to that woman for her to make me a towel. All I remember is I mentioned it on a stream that I was wondering what it would cost to get towels embroidered and I could sell them. Next thing you know, one showed up in the mail. I was like, what the heck is this? And she sent it to me. So I feel very privileged. Thank you, Miss Dee Dee. You're still my favorite. Don't tell nobody.
What do I have?
Don't tell Jess but you're my favorite. Pimpin' Shrimp says a grower, not a shower.
I wonder if this one is
Sandio
watchable.
Hey, Aquatic Nest.
They're such pretty shrimp. How's that? Who asked that question? It was Big Dog 35. Can we see some shrimp or a tank? I guess according to Brian, these are red devils, aren't they? Red devils.
Yeah. With no white tail, with no white spots on the tail tips, they're orange-eyed red devils.
Well, the guy that I got them from sold them to me as orange-eyed red King Kongs.
But it's because he doesn't know the difference. I had a guy sell me extreme red King Kongs, and they had a spot on their tail, a white spot, and that's not extreme red King Kong. They have tips, the white tips of the tail, but the rest of the body is all red. That's extreme reds. But they had that plus a white stripe on their tail. They said that they were a lower grade, and they're not lower grade. So, difference.
Yeah, these shrimp are my latest new strain that I added to my fish room. I haven't put them up for sale or anything like that because they're kind of expensive, and I want to do some breeding first.
I got tons of them. If you guys want them.
Oh, shut up! You fired, man. I'm taking you off the stream.
Shut up, man.
Shut up. No, I'm just kidding. Here, I'll even do this for you because I'm such a nice guy. I'll do it.
Shrimp. We all love shrimp. No, don't need to do that.
Yeah.
MotorCityAquatics.com is mine. Hey, what's the substrate in there? What was the substrate in there?
In that one, that was UNS Contra Soil.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's this stuff? Same thing?
This is Fluval.
Have you seen any difference?
Really, the biggest difference I can see is just that the color and the way the shrimp look on it are different.
But no pH difference?
Not really. They're staying pretty consistent, both of them.
See, to me, those look better than crystal reds. Or whatever these are, pure blacks.
Yeah, these are pure black.
I fell in love. I used to love the reds better or more, but the blacks just something about them. I just changed my opinion.
I've fallen in love with the red ones, as of course, as you know.
Yeah.
Yep. They're looking
What's that
good.
lonely white one in there for?
And because I didn't want him to feel lonely in the tank all by himself. He's the only white one I got. So
I'm lonely.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so lonely. Are those blue steel?
Yeah, the extremes. Dee got a dozen of them out of that tank.
Nice. Where'd you get them from?
Dee was looking for running water. It was on the stream. All the bubbles from our aquariums are. That's funny. Where did I get these?
Yeah, where'd you get those from?
Those I made them from.
No, the blue ones.
Oh, the blue ones originally I got from you. No, I got it from some guy named Detroit Shrimp. Yeah,
that
it was Detroit.
That was my cousin.
Yeah. It had nothing to do with Motor City.
No, that was my cousin.
Yeah, see,
I wish you could mix reds and blacks and not have a mix.
I thought you could when you get to a certain point with the PRLs and PBLs that they'll either come out red or black.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You could have a female that has both.
Oh,
I mean,
so it's
I
both,
don't know.
not
I think
either or.
I think mixing a tank of you just say crystal reds and crystal blacks since you don't really want to mess up a PRL line or a PBL line, but to mix them together and just have a tank of just them, I think that's got to be one of my favorites.
Yeah, I just love, like I said, the way they look on this substrate right here is just, it really brings out the white and the reds. And it's quickly become my favorite tank after the reset and everything. It's a beautiful tank. And
now, what substrate is that?
Huh? That one's the UNS Contra Soil.
Oh, okay. Where'd you get it?
I had actually gotten it at Aquashella when I volunteered on the shrimp contest. The first Aquashella after COVID in Florida, Orlando.
Oh, so you went to Coachella.
I went out there to the Aquashella. Yeah, that was before 2 weeks before my surgery.
It's COVID and Coachella.
Look at Todd rolling his eyes. Hey, man, don't be rolling your eyes. Get back to playing that guitar. You better practice. Uh-oh, wait. I hope you haven't had your surgery yet. Have you had your surgery? If you have, I hope it went okay.
Tell him to go practice and look who's streaming on YouTube.
Right?
I don't hear no drums being beat on.
Well, he's got like 4 TVs going and a laptop. And so he's probably watching 3 different YouTube channels while one of them's he's got his computer on the guitar. He's got a wicked setup there in his little home studio.
Nice. Only male or only female tanks? That's how I keep my Skittles. What? Oh, because you don't want them mixing. I can dig it. I can dig it. You don't want them to go back to the wild type. Okay. That's a lot of work, though, man. That's a lot of work. And what if you miss one?
Yeah, that is.
But if you know how to tell them apart, it's not the hardest thing anymore.
Yeah, but just look how awesome that tank ends up looking with those shrimp in it. It just, like I said, it's quickly become one of my favorites, and I catch myself staring at it quite a bit.
Give it 6 months.
Shut up. Hey, this is a reset anyway, so.
I know. They look really good when they're fresh and new.
Hey, what's up, Jeff? Texas Fish Room.
Good evening, y'all. Oh, is that the guy with the long goatee? Is that your clothes guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watch his stuff all the time. Didn't he just make a shrimp video or something?
Yeah, he got some shrimp from Shrimpin' Ain't Easy.
He got some shrimp from somebody else?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
I know, right? That's what I was thinking, but it's cool.
Dang.
I see how it is.
All I can say is go buy everyone else's shrimp, be let down, and then come get the good shrimp.
Exactly. No. I hope everything goes. I don't care where he gets the shrimp from. Hope everything goes good. That's what we need. More successful shrimpers.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like buying a junk car.
Look at the legs on some of these. It's just wicked coloration in those legs.
Kind of like buying a hoopty car, get you back and forth to work. It only lasts for so long, then you got to go get a real car. So.
I still want some Papa Shrimp shirts. Is that sarcastic? He's got a whole box of them for me. I need to go get them. Damn it.
Yeah.
Some of these shrimp.
Are they T-shirts or are they button-ups?
It sure takes good eyes to check out the little pee-pees. Oh, Dee Dee.
See, I told you.
Hoopty cars have carried a lot of people to work.
Yep, they have. I've owned a bazillion of them. Oh, they're T-shirts. All right. Now I was going to say, because the button-ups are sweet. I mean, I like T-shirts, so that's why I got mine made on T-shirts.
He's got a box of them behind his desk. Yeah, those were PRLs. Yes, that's what you're getting. You're getting shrimp out of that batch. They were picked out of that batch of shrimp. How do you know when the wood in the tank go bad? Smell. That'd be, one thing. Smell, or if it's just like deteriorating.
What does bad wood smell like?
Bad. Have you ever pulled out Malaysian driftwood?
What?
You've had forever, man. That stuff stinks.
No, I never smelled bad wood before.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
No.
Yeah, because this weekend when I went to my son's graduation, I was wearing the Papa Shrimp shirt, the embroidered one. And my family, my nephew, and friends of the family that were all there for the graduation, they were all asking, "Hey, man, can I buy one of those shirts?" And I was like, "Nope, I only have the only one." And then I'm sitting there thinking, "Damn it, I got to make some of those button ups too, because people want the button ups."
That's what she said. Yeah, you just gotta get get those get the t-shirts, get them both running. Yep.
I got plenty, as you see in the video. Don't go to Motor City Aquatics. Here, let me take that banner off, by the way.
I don't have PRLs, so
You don't have my PRLs.
I have PRLs and Crystal Reds mixed. No, I don't have your PRLs.
Ooh, he just got a stock shipment of the Dickies in the other day. Ooh. Well, definitely for sure by Aquashella, I want to have some extra button-ups to sell. I want to have some of the, I want to have my t-shirts instead of behind your desk in a box. And then I also want to have some hashtag I love shrimp shirts. I already got the little design made up. I need to send it to you, but I want to get that going because I think that'd be cool to have a bunch of those. Because I still want to carry over my idea from Florida to do a little I love shrimp video. And it'd be cool if people had t-shirts. I love shrimp.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you have to.
Are you going to have your picture on it?
No, it's not going to have my picture on it. I thought about doing that, though. I did. I thought about doing that picture of I love shrimp.
Yeah. Why not? I also still have hats, too.
It's more money.
Hey, he's great at that. Here, make me all this shit, man, and never go get it. Man, I have 32 t-shirts and 19 fitted hats that are just sitting here. That's funny.
I know. And we're kind of local. Now that I have the car, though, that I don't turn in the car until Friday. I just need to make sure I have moolah.
Uh-oh. Whose car are you borrowing?
No, I rented a car. And it ended up being cheaper to rent the car for a week than for the weekend.
Dang.
And, well, who knows how they had it set up. But when I did this is the times that I need it from Friday to Monday, it said no cars available. So then I tried it from Thursday to Monday. It said no cars available. So then I did it from Friday to Friday, and it says, here's your choices. I was like, okay, well, it's cheaper that way anyways.
I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you're selling, let me know, because I'm going to start selling it too.
I'm selling hope, Brian. Hope.
I can sell that. I can sell it. It comes in little red and white animals.
I mean, I've been saving up everything I have for this trip. You know, there was so many other opportunities to go for.
Oh, that's the car for your kids' graduation.
Yes.
I thought you were just pimping a ride.
Nah, man. I used it so I could go to Arkansas for my son's graduation.
Okay. All right. Can you use wood from the trees in the backyard?
Depends on the tree, and I honestly wouldn't, especially a fresh tree that's fallen. I would make sure it's dried and cured for probably a year at least.
At least.
You know, or if you're lucky enough to be like, I have woods in my backyard too, and we have. When it rains like it has been, that creek will flood, and it's like 10 feet, 12 feet high in this ravine that the creek runs through. So we'll go down there after big rains and big floods and washouts to see if there's any actual driftwood that's floated down. and we'll find old pieces of wood that have been, soaked in water for years and years. So that you could do, but not a fresh piece that you see, oh man, that looks really cool, and throw it in your tank. Nah, man.
Been soaked in hopes and dreams since the 20s. I mean, you do live.
What's up, JoJo? Hey. Master Aquatics, how's it going? Eduardo. Oh, no date night tonight. It was an interesting trip, though, Brian. I'm glad you asked. It was really cool. Way to go, co-host. But no, it was a cool trip, man. I got to see my son. I got there just in time to see his last jazz band performance, and he didn't know I was going to be there. So it was like 3 songs into the concert before he noticed me. And I thought I had the perfect seat, because I sat down right in front of where the drum set is, which was a little bit to the left, on the left-hand side facing the stage. Then the rest of the jazz band was in the center stage. So I scooted over to that part, and the band got all up there, and he got behind the drum set and started playing, and I got my camera out, and I forgot about the guitar players that are both standing right in front of the drummer. So all you see, the videos that I have, is like an elbow. Every once in a while, you see a stick hit a cymbal or the top of his head. But I was like trying to get a better shot. Nope. Fail. But it was really cool. Once he saw me, he turned bright red and couldn't stop smiling the rest of the show. It was funny. And unfortunately, I think I made him a little bit nervous because he had a drum solo. And he had a little bit of I could tell he had a little bit of anxiety while he was playing, and I was just like, but nobody else noticed, just me.
So you stressed him out. What a jerk. I thought he played something else. I didn't think he played drums.
Yeah, he plays drums.
Yeah, but didn't you say he did something else, some jazz stuff or something?
That was my other boy, my son number 2. He's a guitar player.
Do they all look like you?
Pretty much.
They don't look like their mother at all, huh?
Well, yes and no. I mean, each one of them has a little bit of traits from their mother, but they also look just like me. It's funny. I have 3 clone children that are totally different, look different, but look the same. We all have same gestures.
It wasn't me, it was him. I didn't do it. They did it.
I tried to say that, no, they're not my kids, but, there was nothing I could do. It was like, yeah, they are definitely your kids. But I love them, all of them. They're good kids. Pain in the asses that they are. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not.
Can you put
y'all hit that like and show some love to our shrimpy hosts?
Can you put
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Can you put bamboo in the tank?
I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp? I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp?
Why, yes, you can, Brian.
Well, Big Dog 35 asked. I was, I didn't want to interrupt you during your happy moment, but it was a good question.
Yeah, those are good questions. What I've kind of narrowed it down to is, yes, I'll use cholla wood and I'll use spider wood, sometimes Malaysian driftwood, but small pieces. I like the smaller pieces instead of the bigger ones.
This is what I use. Stuff like this. To me, it's the best. It don't break down. They climb all over it, eat all the stuff that grows on it. The cholla wood and everything, it just breaks down and makes a mess. But like I spoke about earlier, it's just because how I have the tanks, I need to keep them as pristine as possible because I need them to breed at all times, and I need, sometimes there's large quantities of shrimp in them. So, I don't need all that stuff rotting in the tank so much, so.
Yeah, that's why I've really simplified my setups, because I don't want to have a bunch of stuff that I have to move around or, try to fish or shrimp, around to catch my shrimp. I like it as simple as possible. But at the same time, you need a certain balance of greenery to help the water stay, stable. Whether it's an over excessive amount of moss or Sawasser tang or something like that, I mean, that really helps.
But here's a question that I don't know the answer to, so I'm going to ask you and see if you know, or if anyone in the chat knows. But is something that's rooted more powerful than something that feeds on the water column? So is a rooted plant stronger and more powerful at keeping the tank, let's just say, clean than a big, huge ball of Sawasser tang or moss?
I think that's where it makes a difference whether you're trying to keep the substrate stable or the water column stable, because your mosses is really going to be more of your water column, and your rooted stem plants that grow roots, that's what's going to aerate and filter out your substrate and use that detritus to help that plant grow.
Right, but everybody says, oh, I have a planted tank, I don't have to worry about this, that, and the other. Now, is a tank just full of moss, Sawasser tang, the hooker moss, anything like that? Like over here, it's the size of footballs, is that just as powerful? I mean,
I think so. I mean, yes, but it because of the way the plants are, just like Texas Fish Room says, rooted will pull from the substrate and moss from the water column. So,
but not all
if it's a shrimp tank, you're not really going to have that much detritus in the substrate anyways, right?
True. No, I was thinking both ways, but I was like, if a rooted plant is eating away at the stuff in the substrate and it's growing and it's depleting, let's say, the bad stuff in the substrate, does that help the water column as that plant grows? Because sometimes they say, I mean, you have liquid plant foods, right? And they pour into the tank, and it's not just for mosses, but it's other plants feed through the water column, but they're planted and they're rooted. Right. So,
I think it's a matter of preference too. But yes, if you have a combination, for me, the ultimate tank will have a combination of both. And even including some floaters, whether it be I'm using water sprite as a floater, because I like to do that a lot. Water sprite grows really nicely if you leave it as a floater. But whether it's red root floaters or even duckweed, I don't have an issue with duckweed unless it's infesting my fish room, which I don't let it infest my fish room. I just think that the combination is the best for everything. That way you're filtering, cleaning out the substrate and the water column at the same time. And if you can find that balance, it works really good.
Okay, now let me ask you this. If the substrate is emitting bad stuff, let's say gases, ammonias, whatever, and the moss is feeding off the water column, is it doing the same thing? But as it comes up, the moss feeds off of the water column compared to a plant that feeds off the roots. But
I think that's why when you get that imbalance, your moss will start to grow algae.
what's the imbalance?
The imbalance are from too much gases in your substrate.
Okay. See, that's a good answer. That's a very good answer.
I mean, I can't prove it. Prove it. I'd
I'm
like
just
to
talking
prove it. Oh, I can't prove it at this point, but that's kind of what I've run across is when my substrate goes sour, I start to notice algae problems. You know?
Sour. Oh, as in like you need to reset the tank?
Yeah.
Clean out the substrate?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know. See, I asked that because of the conversation I was having earlier. It just brought that question into my head, and I was on me myself. I have an answer, but it doesn't mean that it's correct. So I was like,
And then I noticed that the other day I was watching one of Lucas's videos, and he was talking about how if you go to your plants and you shake them off and get the mold off the plants, that's what creates algae. Well, I noticed one of my tanks, there was a lot of fuzzy stuff on my guppy grass. So I just shook it off with a little stick and got all that stuff floating in the water column and then cleaned it off. And then I noticed the guppy grass was just amazing looking underneath.
Did you sing the song too? Shake it off. Shake it
Yeah,
off.
I do. But don't tell anybody. It's a secret. You're giving away all my secrets, man. I don't like you anymore. I'm kicking you off. You fired.
I never heard that that if you shake the malm off, it'll grow algae.
No. If you shake the mulm off, it helps control algae from growing because the algae likes the mulmy stuff. So you get it off of the plants so that way it doesn't start creating algae.
I didn't know that my plants were mulmy.
Yeah, well, I have it in just like a couple of tanks where they get mulmy. They get like this little cloudy stuff on them, and I go shake it off, and then I realize there's a healthy green plant underneath there that was struggling to breathe a little bit because it had too much junk on it. So it's something that I've noticed recently, and it's a cool thing because even the mosses, they started getting a little fuzzy.
Oh, subwassertang is bad like that. That's why I always say, if you're going to mess with your subwassertang, you better do a water change because you can shake it and it's like squeezing out a dirty sponge in your tank.
Yeah.
There's so much crap in there.
Yep.
It's kind of like, it makes me think like the shrimps are ants, like carpenter ants, and they're taking all the food back to the colony. That's what always makes me think about that. I'm like, God, why is it so dirty in this stuff? That's why, even though I have it in every tank, I think the worst thing to have in a tank is a rock pile. And I have one in every tank because it holds all the trash. It's just
right.
You go to move that rock pile, and it's like it's the worst thing in the world. Yes,
little cloud of smoke.
Yes, it's disgusting. But I have one in every tank because I know the benefit of it, but it is something that creates a cesspool. It's a pile of trash kind of, but it is what it is. But I mean, I like the look of it. I know what it does, but I like the look of it. So
I think a lot of it too, as long as you know what are the consequences of your decisions, i.e., whatever you decide to put in your tank and how you put it in your tank, then that'll also determine the level of maintenance and the difficulty of that maintenance on those tanks. And that's the best way to kind of gauge it. How difficult do I want to make it to maintain based on what I'm keeping? Because if people may not be keeping shrimp, maybe they have fish and plecos and loaches and tetras and all kinds of different plants, so there's all kinds of different things that you have to take into account when you go, I need to clean my tank, but I can't fit anything in there because there's no open space. I got to move the driftwood, and that's going to pull the plants out and unroot them. So on and so forth. So I think that all comes into play. And that's why, like, for the tanks that I know I'm putting shrimp in to breed and hopefully catch and cull and separate, I'm not making it too gaudy as far as the decorations, rock piles, or I might put a couple of pieces of spider wood and a moss ball, maybe a plant or two, maybe a ball of Sawasser tank.
I really think basic looks good. A little boost plant that flowers, like you're saying, maybe a rock, a small piece of wood, a moss ball, Marissimo ball or something, and that's it. I mean, I'm not saying planted tanks look bad. They look good. But a planted tank that's overgrown, like you're saying, how do you clean that out? You don't. It's like, so you leave the substrate terribly dirty forever, or, you pull it all out and reset the tank, which is cool because it's actually quite fun, but it's a lot of work. And then if you don't have other tanks to put your let's say clippings from all those plants that grow up, and then you got to throw them away, so there's a lot to it. But resetting a tank, I think, is one of the most benefit or not beneficial, one of the biggest positive cool things when it comes to doing tanks, because when you set up a tank, if it's fish, you can put them in right away. But if it's shrimp, you want to wait for a while. But when you reset it, you put it back together. It's like it's all brand new again. Like you just went to the store, bought everything brand new. So I think that's one of the coolest things is how you can make it look for nothing.
Right. Yeah, I keep it shrimple. It works. And for whatever reason, I think so far in my aquarium keeping, hobby, it's a hit or miss. Sometimes I get it right, and right off the bat, the tank is, cycled and everything's good, and I never have issues with it until maybe a year down the road. Other tanks, I can't get right. They're cloudy, algae problems, and right next to each other, same lighting conditions, so sometimes it's baffling that still, no matter how many times I've torn down a tank, got a brand new tank, reset aquariums, that it's still a learning process each and every time.
I don't know if, I would have, I don't know if you could really learn water. I understand how you're putting it, but I'm in total agreement. It's like Haley, Haley from Aquatic Arts.
Yeah.
I used to work with LRB. I watched her video one day and she said, and it's true. Only because I've done it. I don't know how many times, but she said, when your tanks get cloudy, leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Let it fix itself. And then next thing you know, it'll be clear as a bell, because like she said, it's a bacterial thing, blah, blah, blah. But it's not a negative bacteria thing. If you're worried about it, put live bacteria in it. But every time I get a cloudy tank, I just leave it. If it's not cloudy from like dead snails or anything, I just leave it and feed as normal. And then over time, it just goes away. And some of my clearest tanks, I sat through that cloudiness, left it alone. And they're so clear now. It's kind of like what you were saying with the substrate. Everything's so perfect.
Right.
Like the scientists within my substrate got it right.
Exactly.
And they're like, don't mess with us. And
that's why I say in the long run, no matter how many times I do it, it's different each time because of the fact that I'm not the scientist and I can't control nature. And so sometimes I get lucky that whatever I did, whether it was, sponges from a cycle tank, the decor from a cycle tank, or, bringing in mulm or whatever that I did, that it worked out right. I think it's just as much luck as it is skill, because I still have just as many tanks that don't work out right and I have problems. So like I said, I don't think it's me. I think it's just where your comfort level is at, being able to just feel it out with everything that you have acquired from doing it over and over. You kind of get a feel for it, and then you start also getting a feel for how to adjust without overcompensating and then creating more problems for yourself. It gets easier is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yes, you agree? No?
Until something fucks up, then you're back to zero again.
Or you just so good at it that you don't have any problems?
Oh no, I have problems. I like I just said, I get the cloudy water. I have hair algae. I that's another thing that I kind of I don't know. I stopped chasing so much, and I noticed that it doesn't get worse. It actually dies off to a certain amount, but without doing the water changes, that slimy green hair algae doesn't continue to grow and get worse. I don't know what it is, because my wife would always come down and help clean it out. But ever since I took the filters out and I don't do the water changes, you have hair algae, but it's not getting worse. I mean, it's on a 1 to 10, it's probably a 4, and it just stays there. Now I can do water changes. I can clean the glass, vacuum it out, and it gets better every time I do water changes. But I think if I continue to do water changes over and over and over, it like feeds it, and so doing this, leaving it alone, it's kind of, I keep trying to use that stuff Haley said. She's like, just leave it alone. The tank will set itself. Water's its own master, so it doesn't need somebody telling it what to do. Just leave it alone, and
right.
So, I mean, she's a pretty smart chick. So I figure, all right, I'll listen. I'll give it a try. But, yeah.
No, like I said, I can look around and look at my tanks, and it's funny how from tank to tank, it just really depends on how I set it up, what plants I put in it, the filtration, everything, or how much I take care of it or don't take care of it, because sometimes I rely on my plants to do the work for me. It just really depends on the tank setup. But I like it. I like using it as an opportunity to learn and keep on learning and get better with it. Just because I like to know how to adapt when issues do come up.
So how have you adapted from your issues from last week?
I'm just using entirely RO water in all my tanks and remineralizing from there.
How's it worked?
It's working great. I'm having no issues. It's it's so much easier that way. But I didn't realize how bad the water had gotten. To where I just kind of took it for granted that, I got well water. I don't have to worry about chlorine and chloramines. And
do you have farms by you?
Huh?
Do you have farms by you?
I don't think so.
I was gonna say, because they say, when they spray their plants and stuff, their crops, that stuff gets in the ground and can get in your well water, and mess up your water. So
Brooklyn again, really? Is it ADHD or OCD or a mixture of both?
She started last Saturday. Boy, this tank must look sweet if she started last Saturday.
It does, but then she looks at it and goes, nah, I don't like it. I'm going to redo it. It's not perfect.
But here's the thing. She ain't the one living in it.
Right?
Ask your fish if they like it. Put them in there. If they play around in it, they like it. If they sit at the front of the glass, they're saying, change it. I can't get them to go anywhere. They just sit at the front.
Yeah, and I know like the title of this stream, I put it as what's going on with my shrimp, but that's because I kind of wanted to keep the topic open and vague and, you know, let everybody else ask questions. And it actually is both, Jerry. Your fish don't talk? You mean, what do you mean, Matt? They don't tell you what they think? I
My
mean,
fish talk to me, but I mean, I don't know if that'd be something that you would take medication for or what, but I mean, I know what they're saying. Maybe.
they speak to me by how they're acting in their aquariums.
Yeah, I mean, you watch on YouTube, they talk on YouTube, right? I mean, they're voiceovers, but still, it makes you think that fish could talk. Why not?
My fish, shrimp, snails love my tanks. That's because you put a lot of TLC into their home. You're kind of like a interior home designer, but for aquariums.
There's a job for you right there.
Right?
Interior tank designer.
Just another word for aquascaper enthusiast.
But it's the professional way to say it. You know how they have those terms for even a guy who picks up trash outside. You know, I can't remember what it's a refuse or a city. I don't know. There's a professional word for it, and you know, which
sanitation engineer,
something like that. Yeah, it's some sort of engineer type deal and stuff. You know, so
waste management engineer.
There it is, waste management. Yeah. In whatever, but yeah, that's yeah. He says, "What's YouTube? Sounds too technical for me." Really? Sounds too technical for you? I don't think so. When you could put 50 people on my YouTube channel and then take them away, yeah, I don't think anything's too technical for you, sir. Liquid Zoo. Don't think
I like the flag logo thing. That's so cool looking.
Yeah. Oh, did you see his did you catch part of his stream tonight? He actually streamed with his co-host.
No, I didn't.
Remember, he said, I was going to shut my stuff down until somebody asked me to to do a show with the co-host, and then for the past couple of weeks he hasn't had anybody, but it is what it is. What? Yes. Whatever. Freaking.
With the little angel halo.
Yeah.
Where's the angel halo emoji?
He's the only guy that said, oh, yeah, everybody subscribe to Motor City. I was like, I'm at 819. Oh, no, you're at 834. Everyone go look, or is it just...
He's trying to get me closer to the $30, man. I appreciate it, Matt. Whoop, whoop,
yeah.
whoop, whoop.
Thanks, man. $30, baby. I'm going to buy some crypto with that $30, some Shiba.
No, I told you I'm going to buy one shrimp.
Or some Doge. I'll buy some Doge coin with that 30. What? That 30 could make me rich if Doge ever goes big. I mean, Shiba Inu, you put $200 in there. If it goes to $1, I mean, you're a millionaire. Look at him. Oh, as he looks around, God, I don't know
what I would do.
Yeah. I was thinking about that yesterday. You know, if for some reason you got millions of dollars, here's a question for you. If somebody gave you $1 million today, I know you could live the rest of your life on $1 million. Somebody gave you $1 million today and you did your house, and let's say you built something out there on that property out in the middle of Timbuktu. What would you keep in the store? Not hardscapes, not plants, your livestock. What would be your livestock? If you could have a store and pack it with anything you want, what would be your livestock?
Nano fish, plants, and tanks. It'd be focused on nano stuff. That way it could be shrimp, nano fish, even guppies, endlers, you know, and small plants, you know, not necessarily. I mean, I want to have a little bit of everything, but
So you
as
just have
much
a
as I
nano
can.
store. You would have a Mr. Miyagi store, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That would be sweet. Everything small. Oh,
Yes.
hey, that'd be a sweet name. Everything nano. All right, I gotta hurry up and save that. Somebody steals it. Yeah, that'd be a cool name. And have every like little bonsai trees, you know, all sorts of stuff like that. My husband is in that Shiba Inu shit. Sigh. Hey, it's a good thing to be in. Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, I've always, you know, back in the day, I wanted to do a store that focused on aquascaping, you know, but not big tanks because of the difficulty in lighting and planting. You know, it's a lot easier for a small tank to get the lighting that you need without too much depth, et cetera, and getting too expensive. So I wanted to go that route, but then I got into shrimp, and then I started trying to, you know, formulate what would be my business model and what would I do. And because of everything, my age and just my experience, I'd stay with, you know, probably the biggest tank I'd probably be into is maybe a 33 long, you know, and then everything down from there. All the little mini filters and mini sponges and, you know, small things.
I always wanted to get an ice cream truck and sell weed out of it, but I couldn't get around being called big.
Hey, lady, you want my big stick?
Couldn't get around being called Big Worm, you know, from Friday and stuff. Hey, it's Big Worm, big worm, big worm. You know, so I was
Cheech and
like,
Chong already did that.
Yeah, Cheech and Chong, what? Like, yeah, I thought about that when we were talking last night after I got off the phone with you. I said,
yeah, like Jeff says, when you have a big tank, the amount of money you have to put into it just to fill it, whether it's with the substrates and the decor and the plants and the lighting and the filtrate, everything's bigger, you know, more money for bigger. Whereas, especially with what we know with shrimp and stuff, we can get little small tanks. And if we set them up right, you don't even need damn filtration. You put them on your desk at work, and when you turn on your desk lamp, it puts the light on your aquarium. That's all the lighting you need. You know, no electricity.
Put a little guppy grass in there, you're good to go.
Yeah, you know, little stuff like that, I think is, I don't know, it's kind of a niche. Yes, I understand. But when you include all of the different fishes and mosses and booses and the creativity that we have with small tanks, I think is, I mean, look at Joanna with her, you know, nanoscape or smallscape channel. She does amazing stuff with nano tanks. And I think that's the thing, you know.
Well, yeah.
Plus, I don't want to carry around big damn tanks. I just don't. I don't want to make big, huge, giant fish racks that cost a lot of money. I'd rather have a big, giant fish rack that had 40 aquariums on it.
Yeah, because how many people actually know, like, as you're talking about, like, let's say for offices or, you know, businesses, you know, how many people actually know of a tank? You know, when you say fish tank, they probably think something real big that's got to be out in the waiting room and
at the dentist office.
Yeah, or the doctor's office, but not anything that's on the counter, like in the dental room or something that you can look at and see little shrimp in there. And there's nothing running in it, like you say. It's just you know, what are those big ones that look like wine glasses? Those bowls, you know,
the orbs, bio orbs, or whatever.
Well, no, just, you know, like you can get those glass shapes that look like a big wine glass. You know, it's
yeah.
You can make those a tank, and you know those are classy looking. But most people don't think that way because when, you know, they hear a fish tanks, they go, if they've ever been in a pet store, growing up, they always seen the tanks in there being sold really big, and they don't know of these little itty bitty. You could take a boost plant, tie it to a piece of wood, and lean it on the corner, put a little sand and a rock, and then put shrimp in it, and you're done.
Yep.
Or not even put shrimp in it right away. Set it up for the person, come back in a month and a half, and then put shrimp.
Well, the beauty of it that I think with the small tanks is that I would also make sure that if somebody has, then they buy let's say a 2.5 gallon tank. Well, then here's also at least 2 gallons of water that's already cycled and ready to go to add to your tank. It's easier to do that than it is to get a small tank, start from scratch and cycle it, because you do have to wait. And, I think that's why the beta people or beta people, however you want to say it, beta, potato. That's why at the stores you see those little bottles that they sell with the beta water. That way you can get your little jar, fill it up with water, and put your beta in it, and you're good to go. Bam, instant tank.
That's pretty sad, man.
But I've always thought about that too. I was like, why can't we do that and make Carradina water? And then, you get a little jar and you put your shrimp in it, and you put the water, and bam, there you go.
Because I think the reason why is because, the what the shrimp would come out of compared to what's in that bottle. And if people don't realize you have to drip it in, they'd probably kill the shrimp, because they're more sensitive than a betta fish.
But what I'm saying is, let's say you take shrimp out of a tank, right, and you also take that water out of a tank.
Oh, well, that's different. I thought you were saying to have it in a bottle, like they have the bettas water.
Well, yes, to have it in a bottle, because what makes me think of this and why I'm thinking of it already is because of Aquashella. So when I go to Aquashella, I can't go set up a little display rack, fill it up with RO water and remineralize it, and take my shrimp and put them in there, plop and drop.
Everybody else does.
Well, yes, but just the way that I think about this stuff, I think so it's easier for me to have water that I've already cycled, that I'm taking with me. I'm not going to have a huge container I'm going to have a little container with one of each shrimp, a bunch of little containers with one of each shrimp. So I can take enough water for that shrimp or the bag that it's in and put that directly in the container, and I have a full container without stressing my shrimp out because it's the water it came from. So if you do that concept for shows and displays like that, why couldn't you do that as well to be able to give people water that they could take to at least keep their shrimp alive while their tank is cycling?
Yeah, you could do that, but I don't know. I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong, but if you're thinking of taking water to a show, how long would the bacteria and stuff actually live in that water before it dies?
I don't know. The show's only 2 days. That's all I have to worry about.
Traveling there, though. If you take the water out of the tank, this is just a quick, seriously, I don't know. If you take water out of a tank, let's say put it in a pop bottle, washed out plastic bottle, and you drive 6 hours or 5 hours for me to go here to Chicago, would that water still be viable and still have all the bacteria in it that it had when I took it out of the tank? Or would it just be water with dead bacteria in it?
Why would it? Unless it went through a massive temperature swing. But if you do everything,
isn't it the same as if why does everyone freak out when you lose power then about their filters and all the bacteria dying?
Because I think that's mostly with mechanical filtration, not as much with sponges. As you see with yourself, your tanks were cycled through sponges. So when you turn off all the power, it didn't really destroy your tanks and everything died off.
No, but when I took the sponges out, they stunk like rotten worms.
All I'm saying is that it's an hour drive for me from here to Dallas.
No, I'm serious. I'm
You know
really.
how it's not going to get overheated. I'm going to make sure the water's at the right temperature because my shrimp are also. I'm going to make sure my shrimp are in the right temperature.
Yeah, no.
They don't
I'm
die
asking
in the
because I'm wondering
transport.
if it can, you know, here's why I asked because what you brought up, I'm thinking, well, could it be bottled and put on a shelf because it's already been cycled? Will cycled water stay on a shelf?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
But at
that's
that
what I'm
point,
getting to. How
if it
long
was
do you
on a
have?
manufacturing level, I think water could be manufactured to a specific TDS and a specific GH, KH range. And that's what you sell along with the bacteria supplement that you're going to use anyway when you do a water change
yeah,
and stuff like that. Because I don't think you can sell cycled water really, but using cycled water to transport it and set up for a show like that is what gave me the idea. And then seeing the way that they sell Beta water, I'm sure it's not cycled water.
What if somebody calls it? What if somebody sells it and calls it Malmy water or a cycled sponge filter? Will a sponge? Could I mail you a cycled sponge filter and it gets you 4 days later and it's still cycled, or is everything on it dead? I'm saying I know people that sell it.
I know. And that was an idea Jason and I had a couple of years back. We had talked about,
I know
why
we've
doesn't
all
somebody
talked
sell
about it.
why doesn't somebody sell cycled sponges?
Yeah.
And I just don't know how viable it is. If you do it at home from tank to tank, there's one thing.
Oh, yeah,
But
for
to
sure.
take that sponge and put it in a bag and ship it off to somebody else, and then they get it, and can you guarantee that the bacteria is still alive after 48 hours or 72
That's
hours?
what yeah. Well, what I'm trying to get out of you is if you go from point A to point B, how long, if you have an idea, how long do you think bacteria actually will be viable? Is it a half hour, 5 hours, 24
I say
hours?
24 hours, honestly.
Okay.
I think 24 hours is about good, just like 24 hours is almost enough for you to gas off your tap water.
So, like, if people came and bought shrimp off of you at Aquacella, you could actually give them water right out of your, out of your tanks more than you would normally, for them to take home and actually maybe fill up something small like a 2.5 gallon or a 1 gallon container. Well, that's cool. Yeah, local fish store. Yeah, because you're taking it home right away. Ship, but that's what I'm saying. I know of people that sell Malmy water. And to me, I always thought the minute it gets there, it's rotten, dead water. There's nothing. It's just dirty water, full of poop, So, but that was just a thought. I've never asked anybody that I really actually trusted to give me I really thought it was a really good question, seriously.
No, it is. And that's why I think we have the bacteria supplements. What becomes an issue with the regular part of it is that the way it's used currently is you set up an aquarium and you put in your tap water and you treat it for chlorine to remove the chlorine and the chloramines with safe or prime or whatever it is that you use. Some people add salt to help it, all of that stuff. And then you can't add any live bacteria. You don't, because it's going to die if you put it in there because of all the other chemicals that you just put in. So the other way, if you start off with water that you don't have to treat, that's already to a certain TDS, GH, and KH level with no nitrates and no ammonia. Yeah, aged water. Yeah. And then you take it and you put that in and add the bacteria immediately. I think that's a better chance of success.
There you go. See, it's the way of looking at it, like Brooklyn Bell just said. LRB sells bags of Moam. Michael's Fish Room sells bags of Moam. Plus, he sells, sponge filters out of his tanks. And it's like, how is that supposed to make it to my house in 3 days and still be viable? It's just
Right.
going to be a dirty sponge filter. But this is the way I'm thinking, because I don't know how long the bacteria that's sucked into a sponge, how long if it really would show up still alive, even if it's packed in water.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's definitely, and that's why I think that.
Who we need to ask is what the doctor dude.
Dr. Anthony.
That's him. That's
what
a
would be
question for him.
interesting to see, honestly, is to take Moam from a tank or squeezed out from a sponge. Take that Moam, look at it under a microscope, see what's in it under a microscope, and then seal it and ship it
to yourself.
And when you get it, do it again under a microscope to see the difference, to see if there's dead bacteria now, if there's less, if they're sluggish, et cetera, and to see how that.
And I have a microscope.
You do?
I have a very powerful one from a college, from actually University of Michigan. Yeah.
It's interesting.
See what I'm
saying? But I think that's part of the reason why we never actually did it with the sponges and, sold cycle sponges, just because I don't know. I don't know how viable it is. From tank to tank is one thing, but putting it in a bag, with water, no water, what temperature do I got to seal it, blah, blah, blah. As soon as they open it, because of the temperature changes, is it going to, spoil the inside as soon as it compacts oxygen, just like, your fish bags do when they accumulate all of that poop in the poop water.
And when I shut these down, I think in about 6 days, I remember when I would go to top them off, I was like, God, what's that smell? And so I popped one of the sponge filters out, and the minute it came up and I got it close to my face, it just smelled like rotten worms, like all the bacteria in it was dead. So that's when I started just pulling them out one after another, and I'd take them over and wash them out, clean them all out, and they're all outside in a big bag now. But I got them out fast because I was like, is the bacteria dying because there's not water being pulled through anymore? Why do they stink so bad? It's got to be dying, but I don't know, because I don't know if that smell is normal and I'm smelling it more because the sponge filter's not running, or I don't know. But don't think the shrimps weren't all over it, because they were, but they eat dead flesh too, so
oh yeah,
I'm lost on this thought. I don't know.
It's good to think about. We'll have to come back to that and, do some more.
Like you're saying, a canister filter and a hob filter, I can see, but still, they're both encased in water. If they don't run out, like a hob filter can run out, and if it sits there dry for a half hour or whatever, I could see everything dying. But let's just say the power shuts off and they stop. They're not going to run out. They're full of water. And then when the power turns back on, it comes back on. Now, it happened to me, probably, I don't know, 2 months ago or something. Luke unplugged the canister filter, not thinking about it, to plug in his iPad. Well, then it was like the next day, I was like, why isn't the filter running? I looked down, I was like, oh, yeah, unplugged it. And I plugged it in. It blew garbage out. And you could see it bothered the fish. So I hurried up and did like a 40% water change and put all fresh water back in there. And I thought to myself, oh my God, it just blew all that dead ammonia and just all that dead stuff. I was like, yeah, this ain't, but
Yeah.
I don't know, is it only in a canister? Does it actually happen? Will it smell because there's no water flow, but the bacteria is still alive? I don't know. Can you buy Momi water from somebody that sucks it out of their tank? It's kind of like buying starter for a cake. You ever eat that 30-day cake? It literally takes 30 days to make this base, and you can give it to people. But the minute you're out of that base, you have to start all over again. So it's like this. If you get Momi water and it's, if it loses all of its oomph, then it's just dirty water. And you just paid for dirty water.
I know, but that's like, if you haven't done it a lot, and you're just getting into the hobby, trying to understand there's a difference between Momi water and dirty water. Yes, there is.
Barefoot says the shipping and testing water out Moan could be a good project for Alex from Secret History. But if we have the doc do it, he's actually, he's a pro. He probably has.
Well, I'm sure Alex's archaeology.
Oh, that dude's smart as can be. But
no, but that's what I'm saying. I'm sure that probably helps with his, microscope and understanding of all of that.
He might already know. Alex
he may already know. He may have already done it.
Or he just knows when bacteria dies.
That's true.
Because
he's put it under the microscope. I wish I had a microscope.
Yeah, so here's the thing, is if bacteria doesn't die in 30 minutes, then when the power goes out, people don't need to freak out.
No, they don't. And that's why I said that a couple of streams ago, that I went 17 hours with no power. And yes, I ended up putting bubblers, but I had a lot of tanks that didn't have the bubblers, and they still did fine. The biggest problems I had, even, like I said, even after the house fire, 2 months, my tank sat with no electricity, no light, no bubbles, no nothing. And I still had shrimp and fish and plants that survived. So, yeah, that really opened my mind to that concept of no filtration. I'm still, I still use filtration, but I also have tanks that don't have any filtration.
See, your thing is
I'm starting to dip my toes into that arena, just one toe at a time.
You don't want to get that beautiful air pump off that you got behind you because it's such a sweet piston pump. You're like, oh, I'm not shutting this off. I want to keep my air running. Yeah. When actually, look, my pumps are quiet. They're sleeping. Nice and cool.
Hey, Crypt Keeper.
Crypt Keeper. Oh,
he's out in the boondocks.
Remember that? Remember the Crypt Keeper on HBO when we were kids?
Yes.
Yeah. That's cool. What did she say? Alex literally just bought a new microscope.
Yeah, I saw your post, Jeff. That was crazy that you went through that no power out there. We've had some crazy weather coming through here. I don't get it. I wasn't expecting that Sunday evening, Monday morning storm to come through. I just driven in from Arkansas, and it was clear skies and hot. Next thing you know, I'm opening the doors because it's cold outside, or chilly with all the rain and everything. But, ooh. Now, is it like, can you hook it up to your computer and watch video? Or
no. So it's how much I use it. It's a MicroMaster, and it was last done in, is that 85?
85?
Last
so it doesn't have a USB?
Last serviced in 80, I think 85, could be 95, but what it is my buddy at his store when him and his buddy bought the store, they had a guy that they know that was in that went to college, U of M, to all on water and bacterias and everything. And he brought this, and he would show them when a fish was sick, what it looked like, so they knew what to look up. So they knew when a fish got sick, they could see and know what it was. Well, then over the years, you just get so good at it because you own the store that this thing just sat there. And one day I told him, I said, oh, that'd be sweet to look at a shrimp. And he's like, here, gave me that, gave me all the scissors and tweezers and all the glass things that go in it. He's like, here, it's yours.
Slides.
Yeah. So now it just sits over there and collects us. That's it. Just,
Well, Brian, we've run it an hour and 25 minutes.
What, did your mama calling or something?
No, wait, let's see. What does Crypt Keeper say?
Jerry!
I've been instructed by Jenna P that I need to go watch Tales of the Crypt. Apparently, Crypt Keeper is a specific character, and so I need to learn where it came from. Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah. You don't know the Crypt Keeper? He was cool. Is you watch movies, and he was Tales from the Crypt.
Bastard.
That's where he came from, Tales from the Crypt. Oh, is that me, lucky bastard?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I just got lucky, but that's how he got it. So, I've looked at shrimp that were sick, not knowing what I'm looking at, but I could see, and
you can't take pictures with it. It ain't worth shit.
True.
Beep.
True. But at least I have one.
But anyways, no, we've run an hour and a half. And so, hey, Jeffrey Watts. It's hard to leave when everybody's so cool that's in here.
Hi, Jerry. No, I've never seen it. I've heard the term tossed around a regular speech. I like to keep crypts. So that's where the name came from. Yeah, it's Tales from the Crypt. That's what it was called. And he was the Crypt Keeper. And he was it was like a skeleton that was still alive. He had hair, real long, scraggly hair, like Jerry. But
hey now.
That's what you do but he was cool. Yeah.
I used to do that when I get out of the shower and my hair was all wet and I, shake it dry as much as I could. And then my kids, when they were tiny at the time, this was like 20 some odd years ago, and I'd chase them around the house being like a scary animal monster. I'd run around. No, Dad. It was fun. And then several years later, my son told me, Dad, I liked it better when you had long hair and you'd get out of the shower and run around, chase us with all that hair like a monster. Now you're just a regular old dad. I was like, oh, man.
My dad used to chase us around, tackle us, sit on her chest and get a whole onion from my mother, and he would eat it like an apple and then breathe in her face. Oh man, that's how things were when we were kids. We didn't have toys. We got breathed on by onion mouth and stuff,
I guess you related to MIB, the first one, when they were like, you were like, yeah, he wasn't the Crypt Keeper, he was an alien.
Yep, Crypt Keeper was something else back then. It's kind of like around the same time Fraggle Rock was around too. Yeah, they're all on HBO. He's all on HBO. Fraggle Rock, Tales from the Crypt. Brooklyn Bells
Fraggle Rock. Fraggle Rock. Oh, lordy.
Talk like Charlie Brown teacher. Wah, 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 wah. Yeah. Charlie Brown was the shit. Yeah. But yeah. So those are just some things that I was pondering on. But yeah, the water thing's a big thing. it'd be good to come up with so people don't so people may be able to relax when the power goes out if it's not going to be out for that long. How many days can you go with sponge filters compared to a hob filter? See, with me, if the power went out for more than 24 hours, I would that's a hard one. So I was going to say I'd probably just unplug the hob filter, let it sit till the power came back on. Then when the power came back on, I would wash out rinse out the hob filter and put it back. So if there was dead bacteria in there, it wouldn't blow into the tank. But with sponge filters in the tank, how long can a sponge filter go before everything on it's dead? Does anyone know? Will the center of it still have viable bacteria on it compared to the outer edge?
I think it's the other way around, honestly, because I think as a sponge filter starts to get clogged, it gets clogged in the center and then starts impacting the sponge as it gets more compacted and clogged. And then eventually it's not flowing water through. So the bacteria on the outer rims and on the ridges, that bacteria is viable and the stuff on the inside is no longer viable. And that's why I think when you let your sponge filter go so long that it takes you 30 minutes to squeeze out all black stuff, that's all dead bacteria. When it's brownish, I think that's good, viable bacteria, but I may be wrong.
See, but I've done it to where it's been black. And when I took all the sponge filters out, there were some that, just from lack of cleaning, because, it's, you go through and you clean them, you're like, man, these ain't even dirty. So it's like, how long do you actually go for, before you clean? But when I took them out, there was like, maybe out of all these tanks, there was like 2 that were black that were so heavy. You got to grab the sponge and do this.
Yes.
Instead of just
break all that stuff apart. You have to actually break it apart.
Yeah. See, a lot of people don't really clean a sponge filter properly. And I was that way for a long time. And then I just realized instead of just squeezing it, like you're saying, all the stuff on the inside is in there and it's not coming out. So you got to like put it together and do it like a washcloth, or like you have a bar of soap and a washcloth, you're soaping it up, and you got to do that a few times. Then go to squeeze out. You're like, wait a minute, where did all that come from? And then you put it on your filters and it's just blowing like crazy because now it's able to move so much water because you cleaned it properly.
Some of the sponge filters that Jason has at the shop are a year and a half into this now without being clean.
Oh, those are the ones he got from Corey.
No. The other ones that he replaced the aquarium co-op.
The fine ones.
Yeah. And they're the big giant ones that are really fine sponges. So let's say I take one out to go clean it. And once it drains, I'll be I'd go and run to the sink, and when you squeeze it, it stays like ball.
And
that is a very, very, very dirty sponge filter.
Yeah, it's real tacky. Like
30 minutes. Yeah, I've sat there for 30 minutes because once it starts getting clean, when you squeeze it, it gets back to shape almost immediately.
Right.
But when it's dirty, it doesn't have any pores for the air to get in, so it stays sucked in on itself like a freaking prune or something. Right. It's weird.
But like a sponge full of soap. Like when you wash your car and you squeeze it, it stays sucked together like that. Yeah, she said, get to testing. Hurricane season's coming.
What auction?
Only auction we know of is the ones we have.
I didn't know there was an auction. We're not cool kids, man. See?
No, we're not cool kids.
I'm not cool kid.
We're not part of new kids on the block.
No, we're old guys on the block.
What's that song? New kid, suck a lot of dick. Chinese food makes me sick. What? I don't know. Something about
I don't know. I never listened to that.
It was something a long time ago.
How's a headbanger?
So was I. Headbanger's Ball.
Yep. Headbanger's Ball.
That's another one. Crypt Keeper. Look up Headbanger's Ball. Yeah.
With the little guy on the moon and the flag.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. Hey, that's why I say all these people growing up these days, they'll never get to know what all the cool stuff was when we were growing up. All they had.
Yeah, I know. That's one of the things I still look at. I mean, I don't know. I guess I haven't been to a concert in forever, so I don't know. But I don't think they'll ever enjoy concerts like we did. The arena rock and the concerts in, like, I don't know if they had concerts at Joe Louis, but over here they had a place called Reunion Arena, and that was
they had them. Joe Louis, yep. But they had so many places here. They had Outdoors, Pine Knob, the Palace, Joe Louis. Bob Seger always played at Joe Louis. So, but I remember being 5 feet away from Bon Jovi and Extreme and all these bands, and when I used to bounce for the bars inside, I remember what was it, Blackfoot, and just all these bands that we used to hang out. Then I used to work for the bands. It was like, you don't get none of that anymore. Well, it's an auction.
I remember hearing something about that.
Eventually, so if you want to put them up on auction, you can email them. I don't know when they're doing it, but they're planning and looking for. Oh, yeah, I'm not a cool kid over there.
You're not, but I am.
I'm not. I'll be hanging with Zach Wild for my birthday this year. If you get to hang with Zach Wild for your birthday this year, me and you are going to become really good friends. Zach Wild is like, he's like a prophet of Jesus.
I think one of the things that survived the house fire was I have a red flannel sleeveless button-up shirt that's got Black Label Society embroidered here and then the logo on the back. It's a cool red and black shirt, but I got it at a friend of mine. He did a fundraiser. He was in a band called Hillbilly Orchestra, and I played drums for him. He also used to own the Club Mongos way back in the day when we were hanging out and partying with Pantera, watching the Cowboys football playoffs and Super Bowl at the club at a private party. We thought we hit the big time because we were hanging out with all the cool kids, But he did a giveaway of a bunch of stuff that he had, and since he was kind of big in the music industry around here, he hung out with Pantera a lot. Was one of the big guys that you saw in a lot of the videos next to Mayhem, who, rest in peace, got killed in the shooting. But yeah, he had all kinds of cool stuff, and I saw that flannel shirt and I was like, I gotta have that. And he was like, I'm auctioning it off. And I was like, how much? And he was like, it's an auction. And I was like, I gotta have it. He gave me a price and I gave him the money and I took the shirt.
Wow, he said he got him booked at a venue 20 minutes. Why don't you go get your shirts from Oh Boy and go see Zach Wild, dude?
Right? No doubt.
Right? I mean, if he's got them booked, that's your backstage pass, dude. Like press pass.
Shit, I'll go over there with an audition tape. Here, you need a drummer, dude.
Oh, Mongo just got to put it in his heart. A stent.
Oh wow. Hey, Todd's listening. Yeah, Mongo had a stent put in, and it's all good.
Liquid Zoo said, I'll be cool when I hit 1,000 subs. Well, I know not to hit 1,000 subs. I'm going to keep keep erasing, unsubbing from people that sub to me. So I say uncool and send them to Papa Shrimp.
Yeah, because he can't afford that $30. $30 to make you holla.
He will not get my purple metallics.
September 3rd. All right, we got some planning to do.
Dang, that's my birthday month. Better have to hand them
a jump drive than a tape. Yeah, no doubt. Here's my audition cassette. Oh, you don't have anything to play it in?
Is this reel to reel?
Right? A 2-inch reel to reel.
Yeah, come on, dude. What? I'm not that old. It sounds the best. It's like vinyl, bruh.
Man, out of all the studio recordings we did, my favorite one that to me sounds the most authentic was done on a 2-inch reel to reel.
That's what I'm saying. Things were way different. I mean, you don't see guys in bands put a sock on their cock and come out banging on a bass guitar. You know, I'm just saying times are different now. You know, the way we grew up, I mean, bands were just crazy, but the music was just sick. I mean, if you know who I'm talking about, you know, it's just, I mean, and they're still around. They're what, older than us, and they're still around. They got to be in their, what, late 50s at least. You know, so I mean that whole band is on the upper end, but they're still rocking out, you know. So it's, I mean, just so many things were a certain way when we were kids. Now, yeah, like you're saying, you can't go to concerts. I mean, everything's you know, digital, you know, this, that, and the other, and you know, it's just not the same. You don't get that close and personal.
I definitely know that there is a current version of me, the drummer, and the version of the drummer from the past. That when I watch these videos from 30 years ago, you know, 25 years ago, and I watch what I did, I'm like, there's no way. I mean, maybe I could play some of that stuff still, but it'd have to be slowed down a bunch for
and
me.
You got to snort 2 Motrins before you do it, just to help with all the swelling in your joints when you're done.
Oh yeah,
you know.
I mean, definitely some of the stuff I watch, and I'm just like, holy cow! I can't believe how fast, how smooth, how tight everything was. But there's no way any of us can duplicate it today. Now, maybe if we got here and we practiced every other day for 6 months, we could probably get close to it. Mm-hmm. But I don't think we could ever duplicate some of the stuff that I watch on these videos from 20 some odd years ago.
Well, yeah, look at the drummer of Metallica and Tommy Lee, and you know, all these guys that are still in it. I mean, you got to figure they probably have to. I mean, especially if you go on the road, they probably sleep every second, eating Motrins, ice packs everywhere. You know, when you're over 50, you know, moving that fast, that's holy geez. That's like hitting a wall at 50 miles an hour in a car. That's quite a bit of abuse, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, I no longer jump off all the random things on stage anymore. My knees can't take it. I know after the Soulfly tour, my body was killing me. I could imagine, man, if I did that and jumped off even a drum riser, if I jumped off a drum riser, there's a chance that my knee will explode. It's happened before.
All the stuff that I used to jump off of when I worked for bands, I'd actually have to sit down and slide off of it. Now, hold on, I'm coming. Jesus. We're yelling. You know, you're up there changing the gels on the lights and stuff. That one's got to be red. All right, hold on. I got to get down. No, climb over. I can't. Jeez.
The last time we had the band together and all 4 of us were here jamming, it was probably a month ago, maybe, that we all got together and we were playing. And then all of a sudden in one of the songs, I was doing my stuff, and I just kind of went like, ow. And then it was like, oh crap. And my back was fried after we got done playing. I was like, I'm done. And I couldn't walk right for like the next 3 days because my back was so sore. Yeah, I'm like, God, man, you know, that sucks.
You're like, oh my God, Jerry, what's wrong? Cramp.
Y'all a bummer. I'm good. Oh, okay. See, Todd's in the band too, so he's like, I got this. I ain't old. I'll play whatever. You guys are old. No, you're old too, Todd.
Well, no, what I'm saying is the guys in, like you were saying, if we practiced every other day, that's what I'm saying. These guys in these other bands are older than you guys, you know, but they're only able to do it because, like you say, every other day and stuff, you know, you would just need to, you know, get that blood flowing again and get all those little itty bitty muscles strong again, you know. And I think you could go back to, I mean, look, you got a brand new robotic heart, dude. You're ready to go. All you need,
right? I got a refurbished sticker.
New knees and some new butt cheeks that won't go numb when you sit in that chair too long while you're playing.
Hey, to be honest, I think if it wasn't for my drum playing in my youth and basically my whole life that I've been playing, if I hadn't have done that, I don't think I would have had a strong enough heart for the surgery, because when it got done, that's what one thing the doctor said. He goes, no matter what, you're strong as heart. Your heart is strong. He was like, you got a very strong heart. So now that you had the surgery, you're good.
I seem to hear that with so many people, even like when my father had it done, they said his heart is so strong, or they said, we don't know how long you'll live. You know, it was just, you get a clog, they have to fix it, but your heart is so strong. It's like, oh, really? So I'm not going to only live another 5 years. I'll live another 25 years. You know, it's just, you know, the way things are these days, you know, we're a lot more healthier than previous years, you know.
I know what you're saying, Jeff. I played a show where there was these kids on stage, and they were kind of like Slipknot. They had all the masks, and there was like 15 of them, and they were so young their parents had to be there for them in order to play. But they were fast and heavy, and the drummer was like an incredible little kid. I mean, he was really, really good. But I was sitting there laughing while I was setting up my drums and getting them ready, because we go on after them. And I remember he was just hauling butt, but every song, because he used all of his fills in every song sounded the same. It was like nothing new from song to song, because it was just a million notes. You know, and my singer came up and he was like, hey man, how do you feel going up after that? And I was like, I feel fine. I'm going to boom tap the crap out of that kid. You know, and my singer looked at me like, whatever. And I did. I went up there and I played and I did me, but I have such a much more refined style, I think, that I used to be that kid. And I'm like, I can still do everything you do, but classy heavy metal drumming. Yeah, I don't let those kids show me up either.
Kind of like what do you want to say, like Slipknot versus Led Zeppelin.
Right, kind of like that.
Real fast, heavy, and then you punch in Led Zeppelin, you're like, wow, what is this? This is incredible. It's just, yeah.
Exactly. And that's what I mean by I'll boom tap the crap out of anybody.
Yeah. Not saying the heavy stuff is bad, because it's good for certain situations. But
yeah, and I can do that too.
You can listen to Led Zeppelin, boy, doing anything from working on a car to going to the bar to, you know, anything. You know, so he said he's got to work on his pinky finger.
Yeah, because he's the lead guitar player, so he does all that.
Oh, the Van Halen stuff?
Yeah, all that fast stuff. Classic. I'm like, I don't have any need for that. I mean, and not because I
Are
don't have
you
the
a
need for it.
double
It's just because
bass?
I can't do it. I play guitar, but I can't do all of that. I can play. I'm a heck of a rhythm guitar player, though.
Are you a double bass guy or a single bass guy on your drum set?
Double bass. I mean,
Oh,
I have
really?
double bass pedal because I've never wanted to carry around 2 bass drums. And especially back in the day when we played, you only had like 10 minutes in between bands to move your stuff. So my drum set was a big giant rack drum set with cymbals everywhere and drums everywhere, and it was maple shells and it was heavy, and I had a 24-inch bass drum. So getting off and on the stage was a lot easier with one bass drum and a pedal than 2 bass drums and 2 pedals.
Yeah, I fell in love when I first heard Metallica, and he would do that double bass drum thing. That's what sucked me in forever. Once I heard that double, it was over. I was hooked. It was over.
Johnny used to always tell me when we were writing songs or whatever, and he'd be like, "Hey man, do the double bass stuff like Wasp." He was like, "I want that Wasp drum beat."
What about Anthrax? Were they double bass?
Yeah,
because they used to do that. Yeah,
Benante was double bass.
Yeah, that just how some of them songs start. If I could just loop the drums and just keep that, I could listen to that for hours at a time. I don't even need words.
I know, and like I said, I watch these videos and I'm like jaw dropping, looking at myself playing. And I'm like, really? I was playing that? I didn't realize I played that fast. I mean, maybe I did, but I didn't. I always, in my mind, I was always like, I don't play fast enough. I don't play fast enough, And then when I watch these videos now from this perspective, I was like, how the heck did I do that?
Well, you were
I'd
young.
get lucky if I could do that now. But again, age is really worn on me. So I have to play differently.
When you were saying that you play the guitar, you can't do the fast stuff. You're making me think of who sings that song, "Country Road, Take Me Home" to
John Denver.
John Denver. That's who you make me think of. Country Road, take me home. Pow, 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 wow. I used to listen to him on 8-track, dude. I had a box my father had, and I would open the box up, and it was 2 speakers, and you unhooked them, pulled them apart, and one, it had the volume and everything. You put the 8-track on, you plug it in, you crank it up, and it was like a homemade boom box. I used to always listen. And when you said it, I was like, man, he sounds like John Denver. Take me home. Boom, boom.
It was funny because I think I was on Mains and Tails on a Wednesday members only stream. And I think it was Brookley and Bex and Dee
It is a good song.
And Brennan and Jess, I think, were all on the panel. And everybody was talking and doing their thing, and I was changing water and oh shit. Hold on.
Well, whatever it is, it's got to be bad because we've been on here for an hour and 53 minutes, and if something's overflowing, his ship's a sinking. That's all I know. Yes, it is a good song. Yeah.
Woo, that was close. That was close.
Yeah.
Woo, it's full. But anyways, I was I was sitting there, everybody was talking, and I was sitting there thinking, it's a members only show. I should turn off my cam and then go over there to my drum set and start playing the drums while everybody's talking. But I didn't do it.
That would be funny. She said, "Oh shit." Yeah, it's I don't know. Oh, then now I just got the picture. You getting older, you're gonna have one of those the things that the hobos had, the stick. You bounce it like a pogo stick, and it's got the little symbol on it. You're gonna have a ching ching ching. It's gonna, it's gonna have the tambourine stuck to it, and the little bongo drum, and you're gonna sit out there with a cup, around your neck. I used to be a rock star or something. No,
I remember one New Year's Eve, we were going to a party and we were going to jam. And I didn't get to the storage place to get my drums out in time. And they were closed for the evening since it was New Year's. So they wouldn't let me do it. So I went to my buddy's house and I was like, sorry, dude. All I brought was my drumsticks. So we looked around and we got buckets and trash cans and all of that stuff. And I made myself a little makeshift drum set and we jammed our butts off that New Year's.
That's got to be the coolest thing I've ever heard is when you go on YouTube and punch some guys up playing drums on a bucket. That is some of the coolest stuff I've ever heard. How they lift it up with their feet.
Yeah.
And they just do on the side. Now I'm just like, oh my gosh, that sounds better than.
It's fun to do too. I mean, once you figure out what makes what noise and how to make it, how to manipulate that noise, it gets fun.
I had a blast on the water.
Dun 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
Deep Purple.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
I used to love playing Knocking on Your Back Door. That was a fun song to play as a drummer. There was a lot of songs that when I was playing in cover bands that was really fun as a drummer that I didn't like the song until I started playing drums on it. Crypt was one of those songs. You hear it on the radio. It's so overplayed, but we started covering it and I had a blast. That's such a fun song to play as a drummer because you can put so much emotion into it. I'm kind of that way. I play with my emotions on my drums.
Yeah, Deep Purple was a really, really, really good band. It was one of the big ones I liked next to Zeppelin. I wasn't even a Zeppelin fan until I probably hit 30. Then I became because my cousins all listened to it when I was a kid, and I was like, what is this? I mean, it's to me, some of Led Zeppelin's music is painful. It sounds like he's stabbing himself with a ball or a dull fork or something. It's just I
wasn't real big on being a Zeppelin fan, but I was a huge John Bonham fan.
Right. I mean, the drummer, but then I started to, maybe I don't listen to all those songs as much, because the radio burned them out, I think more, but, just listening to Led Zeppelin, I think but Deep Purple, another huge one that I got into was Sabbath. Big, huge. Ozzy, not so much. Black Sabbath, holy hell. It's, Pink Floyd,
my early influences. Well, it started with me sitting at the back of the bus in senior high school and sitting back there with all of the dudes that had the freaks is what we call them, but they had their jam boxes and they're listening to, Motley Crue and Quiet Riot and Ted Nugent and Zeppelin and Rush and Iron Maiden. And then this one dude said, I bet you can't do the intro to Where Eagles Dare by Iron Maiden. So that made me seek out Iron Maiden. And then the next thing you know, I became an Iron Maiden fan. And it basically was Iron Maiden and Rush were the two drummers that I emulated as much as possible when I was first learning how to play drum set. I mean, I played drums in the band, in marching band and all of that stuff, but playing drum set, whole different world. And the drum set players in the high school that I went to were like outstanding and amazing drummers. So I kind of learned by listening to music and taught myself. And then I took lessons and I said, I don't need to take lessons. All he's doing is teaching me how to read this book. I can do that myself.
Yeah, I had growing up as a kid, I used to collect mirrors. You know, you go to the carnival back in the day, you know, when carnivals came around and you throw darts and they give you these big mirrors of the bands. Well, we had a garage sale probably about 4 years ago, and I probably had about 40 or 50 mirrors, and I still have some. I have original prints. Like I have a Harley Davidson one where the hand's holding a rose and there's an eagle on his arm, and it's literally stamped, you know, the Harley Davidson logo, the branding and everything. Well, I had two Iron Maiden with the robotic dude standing on the front of it. One was still in the wooden frame from the carnival, and the other one was not. And a girl came to the garage sale and she bought about 20 mirrors off of me for her bar that she had built in her basement. She bought the one without the frame. And so my buddy, growing up as a kid, he married me and my wife, but he's a pastor. But when we were younger, he had long hair like you, and his favorite band was Iron Maiden. So I went over there and I gave him that Iron Maiden. I said, I don't know if Jesus will let you have this. He's like, dude, that's the coolest thing that anyone's given me in years. So I gave him this, and it was stamped. I think it was stamped like 1978 or something, when the company branded this, you know, with this mirror. And I had two originals and I gave him the other one. So, and it was pretty cool. So yeah, Iron Maiden was a huge one. He used to draw on the jean jackets, you know, how the Levi's had that back. He would do everything in pen, and it looked like somebody took it right off the album cover and put it on there. And I had one
I used to make money by drawing Eddie from Iron Maiden and selling it to my freak buddies for $5.
Yeah,
and I do it all kinds, especially
Ace's High
when Power
was when he was
Slave came out. That album, when that Power Slave album came out, the Egyptian head, I drew a bunch of those, and I did it with pen. I didn't start off with pencil and then color it in or anything. No, I started off with pen, finished it off with pen. I still have pictures of some of my drawings like that from when I was a kid.
Right. Mississippi Hippie says Foreigner to Black Sabbath on 8 tracks. I remember riding in my cousin's 78 Monte Carlo in Pennsylvania. He had a 70 and a 78 8 tracks, and we listened. That's when I was introduced to Molly Hatchet, Boston, Stevie Nicks, Blondie, Fleetwood Mac, Juice Newton,
Vibes Aquatic,
all that stuff, so yeah, the 8 tracks was something else back then, what was it? God, that one song, was that by who sings that Cuckoo Cuckoo song? That isn't the Beatles, is it? No. I am the ape man, I am the walrus, cuckoo cuckoo. That song too,
isn't it?
What?
No, doesn't U2 do a cover of that?
Oh, I don't know.
I Am the Walrus.
Yeah, that. Oh God, I don't know. That
is originally the Beatles, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the Beatles. Yeah, that
or
song.
Paul McCartney.
Yeah, they used to play that when we'd go fishing, like late at night. They'd play it in the car and leave the windows rolled down, so we could hear music while we were fishing and stuff. But that always stuck with me. Yeah, Blondie was a big one. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Pat Benatar, all that stuff back then. Chicks really rocked it up back in the day. You don't see that anymore these days.
Well, I guess you got, what's their names? Hailstorm and Pretty, what's it? Pretty, I forget, they're on tour together right now. Hailstorm and Jeff, what's the name of those bands? The chick bands. Well, these chick singers.
There's just not as many anymore.
Pretty Reckless. Yeah, that's what it is. And I remember when I saw Hailstorm on Bar Rescue, because I used to watch Bar Rescue all the time since I was general manager at a bar. So I'd watch Bar Rescue all the time, and always thinking, man, I wish I could get John Taffer in here to yell at my owner. But so I was watching Bar Rescue, and I saw them do a rescue, and it was a music venue, and they had Hellstorm on there. And the next thing you know, they were getting all their radio play, and now they're all badass.
Yeah, chicks rocked it out back in the day, man. I mean, look, Stevie Nicks, she's still doing it. So
that's just like back in the day when we used to jam and practice next to Drowning Pool, and we'd make fun of their music, and we'd play it all wrong, and then they'd make fun of our music and play it all wrong, And we had a cool relationship that we'd always play shows together. And the next thing you know, they start getting their song on every freaking movie that came out, whatever, every action movie, it was all let the bodies hit the floor. And I was like, man, we used to be making fun of that song when they were writing it right next to them. And then they got all famous and big, and here we are twiddling our thumbs. Man.
Yeah, I remember
how that happens, but it's all about who you know.
I remember when that dude passed away.
Oh, I know, man. I was sad. Even though I was, somewhat jealous of them because they were our buddies and they went on to be big and famous and we didn't. But I was sad. And then I was really sad, of course, when Dime passed away. And that's what got us to start thinking about getting back together, because we went to go do the funeral. I was actually there to do an article for a local magazine that wanted to do a big write-up on Dime. So I was going to do the report, and I took Johnny as my photographer, and they wouldn't even let us take the cameras in. No pictures allowed.
Wow.
But while we were in there, everybody was like, X is red, man, where you guys been? And then after seeing everybody, and it just kind of made us want to get back together. And then we decided, hey, we're going to do a reunion show. And then in 2007, we did our reunion. It was,
what's really weird?
Awesome.
Is I knew the band that sang that, Bodies. Never heard of you though. But I think that's what hurt so many bands back then is like they didn't have enough, or they didn't have the right what's the word for that, to not marketing, but your like your music wasn't played to where people knew who you were, and I think that so many good bands went to the wayside that could have been monsters just because no one came to the right person didn't come to their show, and it's just like, how do you play with Drowning Pool and end up nowhere?
Because a lot of us did. I mean,
what I'm saying is you're playing with Drowning Pool for a reason. It's Drowning Pool is not going to play with a trash band, somebody who's a backyard band. They're going to play with somebody good. So,
well, yeah, but back then that was in the mid to late 90s. So
no, correct.
We were still just local bands, and they were open up for us in certain venues. We would open up for them in certain venues.
Right. So
just
you
like
guys were on the same
Misery. Ritual Misery was the big band out of Fort Worth on the heavier side of things. And so sometimes we'd open for them. Most of the times we'd open for them, but sometimes they'd ask us to, open for us so that they could party. And then we're like, oh man, we got to follow Ritual Misery. Crap. We're screwed.
That's what I'm saying. It's a shame that such good talent was overlooked. Because look, where I come from, you had Halloween, you had Seduce, you had Ted Nugent, Kid Rock, but there's so many bands that played that, XYZ. If you look up XYZ, they had CDs, but they never got huge. I thought that there was somebody, but
It's all about longevity, man. And that's where we were. If we would have just stayed together, then we would have probably been on tour and our lives would have been completely different than what they are now. But at the time of us knowing, with Pantera touring the world, and then when they'd come back in town, we'd see them at our shows, or we'd party with them at the after parties, or whatever the case may be. And then all the bands that we were playing with, we were like, dude, this is going to be the next Seattle. Bands are going to be getting signed left and right out of here. All we got to do is keep on doing, because we were, one of the main acts in DFW when all of this was going on. So it was just a matter of us staying together. Well, then Johnny moved out here to Terrell. We had to move our practice from a rehearsal room to Todd's shop. And then we couldn't do it as much. And the show started getting harder to play because all of the clubs changed their format. Instead of it being 3 or 4 bands a night, it turned into 6 to 7 bands. You get 40 minutes to play, if you're lucky, mostly 30 minutes. And everybody's in a little bitty bar that fits about 50 people in it, plus all of the band, all of the equipment and everything on this little bitty ass stage. And it turned into almost pay to play type situation. And that's what ruined all of the DFW music scene, was because they basically started asking you, who you here to see? Yeah. Instead of putting a show together to where people were there for the show, the entire show from start to finish, they set it up in a situation to where you're either buying tickets to show who you're there to see, pay to play situations, or they're keeping tally so that they know, okay, this band only brought in 3 people. This band only brought in 4 people, but there was 100 people and they were all here for the bar. So the bands don't get paid. That turned into a bunch of crap.
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine. We used to go to over here by me. There's an area about, I don't know, 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours north of me. And we used to go up almost every weekend because the live bands were so good that we'd go up there and just see these bands playing these local bars. But they would, it'd be the only band all night. And it was just like, wow, this is great. It was like when 3 Doors Down was big, and God, what are some of the other bands that was big when 3 Doors Down was? But Cumbersome, who sang that song, Cumbersome, all that stuff. But it was that type of music at the time, so. So
it's vicious out here, man. I mean, that's one of the things that when I started running the bar that I did, and I was also the booking guy, of course, and I was also the sound guy, I did not allow any of that who you here to see bullshit. I just wouldn't do it.
Mary 3, yeah.
So I basically, when I booked the bands, I told them,
yeah.
Even if it was 3 or 4 bands, I would do 4 max unless it was an all-day event. But I tell the bands, everybody gets paid evenly. Everybody splits the door. Period. End of story. Not about who you're here to see. Let's promote the entire show and everybody makes money, instead of just be here from 9:30 to 10:30 and then after that leave because we don't want to show support for the other guys. No, that's not the way I work. And that's the same thing about with the shrimp stuff. And in this hobby, it's the same thing. I don't care. It's not all about me. It's all about everybody. Let's all be successful. Let's all share in the pie. Let's all split the money evenly as best as we can for everybody's sake. Now, I know that's not realistic in the, cutthroat dog eat dog business world, but on the surface, whether it comes to clicks or non-clicks, I don't really care. I'd rather be a part of all the clicks instead of worry about clicks, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I'm not clicky. I'm like a doorbell. I don't click. I don't like ticky, 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 ticky. What about what was it? Yep, Creed was one. What about Danzig? Remember Danzig?
Yeah.
They were big.
Heck, I remember one of the back in the day when we were, thinking we were going to be famous. We played booked a show for an after Pantera party, right? And so we were going to be the headlining band after the Pantera concert. So we went to the concert they called it Starplex Arena back then. And we went to the concert to hand out flyers to all the people to try to pull them into the show afterwards. And we went backstage to this little place called the Ice House, which is in the back. Well, back there, all the dudes were hanging out. It was Slayer was back there, Vinnie Paul and Dimebag were back there. Here. Jerry Cantrell was back there, but the people that were playing on stage, it was Slayer, Jerry Cantrell, Prong, Pantera.
Prong was another huge man. Yeah. That was sweet. Yeah.
So it was really cool that we got to hang out, and then we had to basically just go out to the parking lot and throw all the flyers because we had stacks and stacks of flyers and we couldn't hand out enough of them. So we just threw them all over the parking lot and hauled ass back to make it in time to do our show because we were too busy partying at the concert.
There's this one song I gotta, it's
right, Gina? I know we're still going. Brian won't shut up. He just won't stop talking.
Shut up. Alice in Chains, but there's a band on here. I want to tell you, I never knew who sang it, and now that I know I have it on my music. Crossfade, Brother Kane, Metallica, Van Halen, Def Leppard. They were really hot back then. They had some good couple real hot songs, boy. Oh, Jethro Tull. They were huge. I thought so. God,
I was so pissed when he won the Grammy over Metallica when Metallica was the first time they were ever up for a Grammy. And Jethro Tull wins. The first heavy metal Grammy goes to Jethro Tull for Aqualung. What? I think it was Jethro Tull. It might have been Iggy Pop. But I know it was Jethro Tull was nominated. Iggy Pop was nominated. Metallica was nominated. And that's when they played One live on the Grammys.
Yeah.
And James was so pissed because he knew it was a bunch of BS that he said, instead of cut this life off from me, he said, cut this shit off from me.
Have you ever heard Here It Is, Accept?
It was Jethro Tull. Oh, yeah. Balls to the wall.
Balls to the wall. Dude, I got that on my phone. That's sweet.
That's old school Headbangers Ball material.
Yeah. April Wine.
Scorpions.
Yeah.
Cinderella. I remember all of that.
My wife's a huge Cinderella fan. But yeah, Cinderella.
Scatterbrain. I liked Scatterbrain. They were badass.
Godsmack.
Yeah, when Godsmack was looking for a drummer, I was going to audition because I really liked Godsmack when they first came out. But then when I found out that, what's his face?
What about of Godsmack? Yeah, I don't know his name. He's a little dude, ain't he?
Yeah, but he was also a drummer, and he basically, that's why the other drummer left, because he got tired of listening to Sully tell him how to play the drums and always trying to hog the show. So I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to go and have him tell me how to play. He's either going to like me I'm not, just nope. Sorry.
What about Melvins?
What?
The Melvins?
Oh, the Melvins?
They sang Revolve. Yeah, the Melvins. Yeah.
And then, like I said, since I knew Vinny's drum tech, I went to high school with the dude. And me and his older brother graduated in the same year in 86. And then I think he graduated in 87. or it might have been 88. But he ended up being Vinnie Paul's drum tech after Damage Plan. He was a roadie for Damage Plan, and then he got promoted to drum tech. And then after all of that shit, when he went to Hell Yeah, he ended up being Vinny's
Hell Yeah tech. Was.
So I'd always tell him.
That was cool too.
I'd always tell him, I was like, "Hey man, ask Vinny if he wants to get together. I'll give him some drum lessons." You know.
What about Pearl Jam?
Pearl Jam and
Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, he's a good drummer.
Tesla.
Back in the day, I really liked Jane's Addiction when they first came out.
Yep,
until I
Jane's
found out
Addiction.
their regular life. I didn't really dig that part. But the music was badass.
What's your opinion on White Zombie?
White Zombie before it was Rob Zombie?
Yeah, White Zombie, yeah.
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 I remember driving to practice when me and X's Red first got together, and I listened to, that's a cool song, dude. And I remember we wrote a song, and Johnny was asking me, I don't know how I'm going to sing that and play it. And I was like, sing it like Zombie and, you know, be all, what's that? Techno metal sounding like Ministry or
Ministry
or whatever.
Man, the Ministry was another one. I used to play at the strip club that I DJ'd at.
Crowbar, Acid Bath, Typo Negative.
Typo Negative.
Down, Super Joint Ritual.
Yeah, Typo Negative. That was another dark band.
Of course, around here was War Beast and Rigor Mortis. And, you know, my original guitar player was big time into Rigor Mortis and Gamma Side. So he ended up taking guitar lessons from Mike Scascia. And, of course, tried to rope me into that whole thing. My bass player was the old bass player from Gamma Side, but I wasn't into the hardcore speed metal. I was like, dude, no way. I can't, and then I go back and I listen to some of my music where I pay homage to the blast beat and the speed metal stuff. And, you know, we dabble in the speed metal stuff for fun. And I'm like, I still played it anyways.
You think the singer in Metalhead had a real bad neck pain after he was done singing? Didn't he used to? Who was it? Wasn't he the? Or no, it wasn't Blackfoot. He did not Metalhead. He had the microphone come way up to stand, and then the microphone aimed down.
Lemmy,
sing up into
it. Motorhead.
Motorhead, yeah. And I was like, God, that guy's neck's gonna hurt.
Orgasmatron.
I was like, that's the shit, boy.
That's funny because we used to do a cover of Orgasmatron because the original Orgasmatron from the album is really kind of dull and boring. It's dull and boring, real slow. And then Sepultura covered it, put it on their album, and it's kind of slow and boring. And they do a live version. We always watch it on YouTube in Donington, and it's fast. Well, we cover that version of Orgasmatron. We've been doing that song for, I don't know, 15 years or so, but we started covering it, but we did the Sepultura version of it because it's faster.
Oh, what's the band that sang Blue?
Yeah, Bruce was cool. I've known Bruce since forever. I remember being in the Army telling all my friends, look, they're from Dallas. That band right there on, what's that? MD, the little kid, Neil Patrick Harris. What was that doctor show with the kid doctor?
Oh, something MD.
Yeah. But Rigor Mortis album was always dead center in the intro, I guess, because it had to do with Rigor Mortis and it's, you know, a doctor show. Haha, funny, punny. But Rigor Mortis was the big deal around here. And that's actually why Pantera switched from being kind of I wouldn't say glam metal, but I have pictures of them in their spandex and bandanas and big 80s metal hair. Yeah, Doogie Howser. And then they switched because, I mean, rigor mortis and gamicide and that heavy shit was taking over. Then they got Phil and while I was in the Army when they got Phil and did the Cowboys from Hell album and just totally reinvented metal. You have the glam metal albums, Projects in the Jungle, and what else? Pantera. Yeah, good times. Well, hey, dude, it's 9:30 almost. It's time to go.
I can't think of this freaking band. It's man, something for love of money or something. God dang. But anyways, the one band I used to work for did, when you say you do covers, they would sing this. I thought for sure they sang a couple songs from this band. I thought for sure this band was going to go somewhere, and they never got checked. Every time the record people come out, they'd always mess it up. They get in a fight, or they get in an argument, or something didn't work right, or somebody didn't show up, and it was just crazy. Was that Steamy Mixed? Oh boy. But yeah, so I can't remember. Oh, Bullet Boys. That's
Bullet
it.
Boys.
The Bullet Boys. Remember them? They were another glam band. But hey, they had their day,
Oh yeah. Winger.
Yeah.
She's only 17.
Yeah. What were they saying? If he sang those songs today, he'd probably be arrested or some shit.
Right?
Oh, who was it the other day we were talking about at work? Dude said something about Christian rock, and I said, "Oh, the band that was 777 Striper." Yeah, Striper. Because they came out with 666. Oh, that's Ozzy Osbourne. All right, we'll do 777. The number, it's not the number of the beast. It's
number of the beast was Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Get it right.
I'm sorry. And then they came out with that, and it was, I don't know what they call it, something Jesus or God, I don't know, but the number of God or something. But yeah, Striper. But then they say that Creed was didn't they say that he kind of sang like church music? But I never really felt that his music.
Same thing with Imagine Dragons, right? But I don't consider them
Imagine Dragons. Yeah, they were big too.
But Imagine Dragons is the more recent one, and weren't they Mormons or Seventh Day? I don't know. They were something. But
maybe it's not who I'm thinking of. I'm saying Imagine something I remember from back in the day. Doctor Strange.
Squirrel.
Doctor Strange.
Well, it's time to go anyways, man. We've been talking forever. I got to get me something to eat. I'm hungry.
Yeah, I gotta get up in the shower, and everybody's sleeping above me, so that's why I'm kind of quieted down a little bit. So
I like the Johnny Bravo hairdo.
You like that? It's pretty hot. Yeah. Oh, he says, I like how your hair is like that. I said, okay. I'll just put streaks in it and shit.
You just need shades and a comb so you can always be combing it. Hey, remember?
Yeah. I can go put my Oakleys on. Yeah. But okay. Cool. Great stream.
Cool. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. I'm sorry it was an extended version, but not sorry at the same time. So we had fun. That's all that matters. And
Hells yeah.
Y'all hung out with us. So
King Diamond.
Oh yeah.
We'll be on for water changes to end the night.
That's awesome. I know his drummer, Matt Thompson. I shared the stage with that guy. He's a badass. I also shared the stage with Mickey D. I was sandwiched in between them two drummers, as a matter of fact. I was quite anxious, but
were you a Big Mac or a double cheeseburger? As you said, you were hanging out with Mickey D.
I think the results of the show, I was probably a Big Mac.
Nice. That's hot. That's hot. With onions, bitches. With onions.
With special sauce, bitches.
Yeah. Don't fuck with me. Special sauce, baby. Yeah.
All right. On that note, we're out.
Yeah.
Peace, everybody. See you later. Have a good one. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out, liking, sharing. Replay crew. Love you much. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you next time.
See you next week.
Later.